Welcome to Tomo Talks. I'm Tomo Marjanovic. I'm here with Breon Ansley, two-time Mr. Olympia, maybe three-time to come.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about health and bodybuilding, longevity, and the future of the sport. Stay tuned. Where were you before bodybuilding? What got you into the physique you're wearing right now? Like, give me a little bit of backstory about you.
I was actually business management major, okay? But my focus was football. I went to, I got a full ride scholarship to Iowa State University, and I wanted to go to the NFL. That was my focus, football, NFL, and I didn't care about anything after that, you know, in between, after, whatever. Like a lot of ball players.
Well, you were a natural athlete. I mean,
I was pretty good.
You weren't like somebody that just started going to the gym and became a bodybuilder. You are through and through an athlete from a young age.
Oh yeah, I started in athletics at 7.
Wow.
7 years old. Yeah, I started running track and I started playing football at 7, 6.5 actually.
Wow.
Yeah. And mom was like, "Oh no, don't. You know, he's not ready." Telling my dad that he's not ready, and dad is like, "He's ready. You know, let him get out there. Let him get out there." And so we went on faith, put me out there, man, and I've been in athletics ever since. Like I said, all the way up until, from high school to college. And then got a cup of coffee with for the Jacksonville Jaguars actually out here. Yeah, made it to their mini camp, and then injuries are a reality. Busted my knee up, and I was when I was trying out for them, I was 25 pounds, 30 pounds lighter.
What you weigh right now?
I'm at 200. I'm at 195.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. 195, 196. So yeah, in my 160s, 70s.
Wow. What position were you playing?
Cornerback.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got legs on you.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So you can imagine if something happens to these wheels at 165, 70 pounds, trying to be in the NFL. You're done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't, the most physical guy. I held my own with my size, but, you got guys now that are, you got just the specimens of guys now is just crazy,
People don't realize how crazy of a specimen you really are to become a pro athlete, especially when it comes to football, because, I mean, you are not only have to be super strong, super fast, you have to be able to take hits. You have to be able to give hits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a brutal sport.
Yeah.
The fact that even just somebody coming out of high school and getting into college, you got a full ride to college for football, and then you were going to go into the NFL. The fact that you even made it that far, I don't think people understand how rare that is.
Yeah,
it's
very
extremely
rare.
rare.
Point what? 1/100th, 1/1000th, 1/1,000,000th.
You're a percent of a percent of a percent. Making it in the NFL and becoming a superstar of the NFL.
Oh, superstar.
I mean, you're talking at you are, lottery standards times 10. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Nowadays, actually, I look back and I'm like, man, I don't even know if I would have with the athletes nowadays. I'm like, man, I don't even know if I would have been good enough to even get a tryout. Looking at like the size and the ability and the agility and what they're able to do at the size they're able to do it at.
So what year did you go to training camp? What year would that have been?
That was in 2002.
So, I mean, thinking about it from 2002 to right now, so 20 years. What?
20 years.
Oh, you just made me feel old, bro.
20 years. No,
what year is it?
We're still in our prime, brother. We're still in our prime.
So, I mean, like, looking at it, I mean, just thinking about health and physical fitness and sports in general in the last 20 years.
Oh,
leaps
so
and
much
bounds.
growth. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So much growth.
So, with that being said, like, of course, the athletes from 2002 are not going to look the same as 22.
Right. And, I would have probably been able to, if I had a Tomo back then, man, I'll probably still be playing, maybe, you know what I mean? And be healed up better and faster.
BPC 157, some TB 500.
See?
Yeah.
Just the timing, right, is everything.
Yeah. Where is the athletics going from there? So how does this segue from what you were doing into acting, modeling, and then ultimately bodybuilding? How does that happen?
I had to come to a reality check on, am I going to continue on to try to do this, or am I going to have to kind of hang up the cleats? And it came to the point where I had to hang up the cleats, just hang up the cleats. And
how hard was that?
Very.
Was that like a blow to you?
Absolutely.
Because that was your dream, right?
And, yeah. It put me in depression, and it put me in kind of a dark place for a few years, because I put all my eggs in that basket. You know, I mean, ever since I was 6 to have the dream of making it to the league and going there and playing there, no backup plan. No matter what parents said, you got to finish school, you got to do this, you got to do that. Plan. I would listen, but I wouldn't hear.
Sure.
You know, like I said, that's where my focus. So it put me in depression for a few years, trying to just figure out, like, trying to come to grips, you know, with it. The good thing about it is that I started lifting weights, and I started being in shape weight wise since I was an early teenager. 12 really is when I started lifting. So I always kept that. Okay. I always kept that going, and I was always very therapeutic, and that was always what I can fall back on, kind of to make me feel good, make me feel great, you know.
Were you a little more stout when you were playing football because you lifted weights a little bit more?
Yeah. I definitely was. The weight didn't translate to, you know, what I was lifting, and kind of what I can achieve in the weight room, my physical weight. But nevertheless, I was a pretty good performer in the weight room.
Yeah.
And I always, like, I was in high school and even in grade school, they would, you know, we would have records, and they would put the strongest athletes and the strongest players on the team, and I would be one of the only, you know, skilled players, smaller guys up there.
So you're strong for your weight.
Strong, very strong for my weight. Strong as the, you know, as the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, all the big guys, just as strong as them. Deadlifting, cleaning.
I remember that. I remember those workause.
Yeah.
Deadlifting, cleaning. Thinking about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we did all that, and I was strong with those guys. So that kind of, because I was strong and I recognized it and all that, then I started putting it together. Oh, you know, if I can lift pretty good, and if I can be kind of a strong, you know, kid, then that should translate into building more muscles, right? So that's when I started getting, kind of 12, 13 years old. I started getting into the Flex magazines and muscle development magazines, Muscle and Fitness.
Old school ones.
Yeah, the old school ones, when it was really all we had.
Yeah.
It was all we had to even keep up with anything.
No social media.
No social media, right?
Internet was
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. So I started kind of putting that in the back of my head, bodybuilding. And I was really enjoying what the physiques were looking like. You know, how I was really very impressed, you know, very fascinated with the guys and how they were looking.
Who was your first favorite that you can remember on the bodybuilding scene? Who was the first guy? I think first
was Flex.
Flex Wheeler?
Yeah, I think first was Flex Wheeler. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He had an extremely aesthetic physique.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, beautiful.
Yeah,
all
and
around.
Still to this day, one of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best.
I think uncrowned Mr. Olympia is very easily said with him.
Absolutely. So, and then it heightened it even more when he became my neighbor.
Really?
Yeah.
At a young age?
At 13, 12, 13, 14, and before I...
So you and Flex have known each other for that long?
Until I left for college, he stayed there.
So you and Flex known each other for that long, or known of each other?
Well, actually, I was a little too shy to kind of befriend him. My parents, they would talk to his wife back then, and him.
Does he know this?
He knows this now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I told him all about it when he made his comeback in 2017.
Yeah.
I was telling him all about it then. Yeah, so he knew it in 2017 when he made his comeback, and we kind of
that's crazy.
I had a chance to tell him all that. Yeah. Rowland Heights was the city, and it was in '93 when he moved there, and he got in his car accident shortly after that. And like he was the next best thing.
Oh yeah.
Now that I didn't even know it back then. I just knew he was just huge. And I'm like, man, who is that guy? But I didn't know, you know, kind of what he represented in the sport back then.
Okay.
You know, so
wow,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
So that came into bodybuilding. And did you start bodybuilding at that point, or was it kind of still just working out, still just weightlifting?
No, it was still in sports, right? 12, 13 years old. I was still just in sports. I was in high school.
Yeah.
Playing football, running track.
So it was just normal sports until the injury. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The injury happened in high school, and then I played without an ACL actually for 2 years going into college. Yeah, and then kind of it, you know, wear and tear, had to finally get surgery. And I've been battling with a bum knee for, it happened in 99. In 1999. I keep throwing out these dates. These old ass dates.
He's lying. He's lying. He's really only 30 years old. He's lying.
It doesn't matter. Hopefully, as long as we just look like it, right?
That's right. That's
as long as we look the part, and most definitely feel the part.
That's right. Feeling the part's the most important.
Right.
Thing.
Right. If we had a choice, feeling the part more than looking it.
Absolutely. So you had that injury later in life. You're out of the NFL dream. You go through this depressive phase. How do you get into acting and modeling? How does that happen? That's weird. Going from professional sports like that, going into acting and modeling, obviously you have a good physique at that point, yeah?
Yeah.
So is that kind of what helped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That helped. Me living already in LA helped. Being from there, going back home.
Sure.
You know? Yeah, and in college, I was the only athlete that was studying liberal arts, performing arts in college.
Okay.
Yeah. My degree is in liberal arts, performing arts.
I didn't know that.
Bachelor's in liberal arts, performing arts.
That makes sense now that I think about it, because the choreography and the persona that you put on stage is incredible.
Yeah.
From the beginning, from the first time I ever saw you on stage in Classic Physique, I was like, this guy knows how to move. He knows how to work with the crowd. And when I did research on you the first time before we ever met, I was like, oh, he's got some acting background, some modeling background. I'm like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's not just bodybuilding. It's not just about the physique. It's performance.
Absolutely, and especially classic.
Oh yeah,
and especially classic.
I think you really put a lot of that on the map, and I think a lot of people have really followed in those footsteps. Ruff does a great job. Chris, I think, poses pretty well, a little more classic.
Yeah.
Everybody's
all the
really
top guys are pretty good.
Yeah, everybody's doing the right poses. Where in the first couple of years of Classic,
it lacked.
Yeah.
And I was very vocal about that too. I was like, well, guys, you have to step up the posing game, man, because this is Classic, and I remember some stories that Tom Platz would tell me and the Samir Bannout would tell me when they would guest pose. It was a whole entertainment thing. It was an entertainment thing, and they really put a lot of emphasis on guest posing, and not to even mention when Showtime came around.
Sure.
Even more so.
Sure.
So they were, so I really wanted to honor those guys, man. The classic, the classic era.
Sure.
From old, man, and honor those guys and make those guys proud of what they kind of see from us. And I think now, along with the physiques, I think we're really doing well and really doing great, and kind of representing the way I had envisioned, and hopefully they had envisioned as well.
You were a pioneer in the Classic Physique division. So I'm trying to think. You won how many years into Classic Physique coming about?
Was able to win in 17 and 18, so it was only a year old. The first year was 2016.
So 16, remind me who won. Wasn't that
Danny Hester?
Danny Hester, that's right.
Yeah.
And he was
Danny
the first
Hester.
Classic Physique Mr. Olympia, and then it was you.
Yeah, then it was me twice, and then, well, maybe it should have been me 3 times, Tomo, 2019 as well, but
I can argue that point. I was there. I think I actually gave you a hug after the show.
Oh yeah, better days.
I was at that show, and I thought you won that year. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And this is nothing against Chris Bumstead. I actually trained with him at an Arnold Classic. He probably doesn't remember, but he and I had a back workout way before he was ever the Chris Bumstead of who he is now.
Wow.
And I have old pictures of him, and I sent them to him before, and he laughed. He's like, "Wow, that's an old school one."
Right.
But yeah,
he lives out here now.
Yeah, he lives in South Florida. So I think probably near Revive, I'm sure.
Okay.
Somewhere down there.
Absolutely.
But good dude all around.
Yeah, he is.
Again, I think you won that year. I think you should have been 3-time. And then, whatever anybody thinks. Where do you think the division's going now? So let's just segue to it because we're talking about it. What do you think about the division now? Where do you think it's going? Because I still personally think that you should be placing higher in the last few shows you did.
Yeah.
I think you should have been placing higher. Maybe I'm biased because I like your physique or, I like you as a person. But I try to call it kind of like I see it. So, you know, I'm seeing these people kind of get above you, and I'm wondering where. I'm wondering how.
Yeah. If I could put my finger on it, I think it's just with all in the shape.
Okay.
I think shape more than anything else, more than muscularity, more than detail,
okay,
more than refinement.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to go with shape first.
Okay.
Because when you see everybody now that has placed ahead of me, Chris and Urs and Terrence and Ramon, they all have crazy 20 girl bikini waist.
Yeah, they look like wasps.
Man, crazy, just freaky crazy, right? And so, and they all have, you know, crazy small waists with flaring lats and sweeping quads. Great legs on all of them. Great flaring lats on all of them.
They're all real young too, aren't they?
I think they're all in their 20s.
Everybody's in their 20s.
I think they're all in their 20s. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris might be what? He might be 30, but maybe not. 28, 9.
I think he's 28, 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
he's still
in their
young.
20s, brother.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, so it's just a different look in the division, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's shape. I think it's just shape first and foremost.
Okay.
I bring, you know, with a little bit more age that I have on them, I bring a lot more density. I bring a lot more detail in lines and separation and like a little bit more graininess, bodybuilding look.
And maybe that's what I like. Maybe that's where I kind of go back because I'm like, grainy, hard details. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where maybe they're trying to shy away from that in classic physique. Maybe it's getting too bodybuilder-esque for them.
Yeah.
But nobody can really tell me that by looking at your physique, if they chop your head off and they take a silhouette picture of you, dude, you're classic physique. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So when I see it, I'm like, okay, they're going for maybe a taller look, although rough doesn't really fit that.
Yeah, he was shorter than me.
Yeah, he's short.
You can't say that.
Yeah, so I don't know really where the division is kind of going, but you know, like you said, it's that structure more than anything else.
I think it's shape first and foremost. But then again, while I say that, I know that I haven't been as lean as I should be. The past 3 years, Tomo, even in 2019, brother, I have never been as lean. Check this out. I have never been as lean as I really, really, really wanted to be. Ever.
Which is insane because I see how lean you've been.
Ever, yeah. Yeah. So I think pushing that now and focusing on that will put me over the top and even lend itself to my structure and to my shape.
Okay.
Because my waist would be a lot smaller. I get leaner.
Sure.
You know,
and your lats and shoulder width are not going anywhere. And
right. That's
regardless of what anybody says, and I'm going to even call out a couple of my friends, Nick Trigilli, my buddy.
Oh.
I love Nick. I love Nick, and he's a loudmouth on his channel.
Oh boy!
But I love,
Nick.
I love how opinionated he is. He just puts it all out there.
Yeah.
I disagree with him. I don't think that your quads have been lacking.
No.
I know he said that publicly. I think that your quads have an excellent sweep. I think you have an excellent X-frame. So I will disagree with you, Nick.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, your quads can only be lacking so much when you're still able to get third at the Olympia last year. Fourth isn't all that bad with the competition at the Arnold. You know, when in the grand scheme of things, we want first. But
I don't think your legs have really gone down, in my opinion. I think that you have a really good shape to them still, along with your upper body. I think everything looks great. So that's my personal opinion. I'm looking at it from a bodybuilding standpoint. I've followed the sport since I was 9 years old. And that's dating myself a little bit. That's going mid-90s.
It's okay. Again, you look and feel great.
Thank you.
You know?
Anti-aging at its best, right?
Oh, boy. We're going to talk about all that.
Absolutely.
On air, on the record.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and I mean, you know, from the bodybuilding perspective, so you're competing classic physique this year.
Yeah, this is my last year.
Okay, so you're doing the Olympia in classic physique this year.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I would really like you to go in and kick everybody's ass, just to prove a point. Just because I like seeing people get pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, going in there,
piss a lot off if I win.
You going in there and just whooping everybody's ass would be hilarious, and it would be great for the sport.
Yeah.
It would be a really good news story.
It would be.
You know what I mean?
Because it'd be like, you know, the older guy, Breon, you took a lot of lumps. Right, since he won, coming back and was able to, you know.
Danny Hester, nobody saw him winning that first classic physique Mr. Olympia. Sean Roden, God rest his soul, nobody saw him coming in and winning that year.
Absolutely.
Right? Only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the guys that are winning right now in all the divisions besides classic physique, they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
Because it takes that mature muscle to get there. It takes years and years of hitting that iron to get you to that point.
Absolutely.
Most of the people on the stage, nobody can touch your back. It's just, that's the fact. because you have that grainy, hard look from the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're doing Classic Physique this year. Any shows before Olympia, or are you just going straight to Olympia?
Yeah, I can put it on out there. I would at least do Tampa Pro.
You do Tampa?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Tampa Pro here with you in your guys' backyard.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna definitely need you there, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna
definitely need you guys there.
Tim Gardner puts on a great show.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be my first time doing Tampa.
Good.
Yeah, my first time. But
you're gonna hurt a lot of feelings there.
But I like.
There's some Classic Physique people coming in there, and they're gonna be pissed.
Yeah, well, so be it, man. They could be pissed for a year, then I'll be out. For half a year, then I'll be out.
And is the goal 212 after that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 212.
Okay.
It's 212 because it just has to be. If my weight cap is 180.
Okay.
You know, I can have no meals. I can eat nothing for 4 or 5 days, Tomo, and be at a 205.
Yeah.
210.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Carry a lot of size.
Yeah. So the size has just stuck there for overtraining, and you know, over time it's just matured and it's stuck. You know?
Do you think you'll be able to get into a 212 show in 2023?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. I was gonna say, or are we gonna take a couple of years off?
I don't think I need a lot of time because I don't think with my structure and my build, I don't think I need to be tipping at 212, you know, to be competitive.
Well, we saw that clear as day when Sean Clarita came in there and destroyed.
Sure. Sean is like 174 or 5, something
on stage,
like
170 something.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
see how his muscle looks.
Listen, he's also this tall.
Yeah.
So it was just
he's on the shorter side, but nevertheless, he's got popping, man.
Oh, he looked crazy. I think he outsized everybody, but everybody was 3 to 4 inches taller at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's a short dude, but he was stacked.
Yeah.
But that's what shows you it's the illusion of bodybuilding.
Absolutely.
It's not just how much you weigh on stage. You know, we get all these open bodybuilders. Oh, I'm 300 off season. I'm 320 off season. Do you need to be there?
No.
You know? Do you need to be there? Is that healthy? No.
Yeah. They don't need to be there, and it's not healthy. So, but you know, that's a fad, right? Weight,
Oh, yeah.
And they equate that to muscle. That muscle just has to weigh so much.
Well, they're not weighing 300 pounds on the stage anyway.
Right.
Not many people are doing that.
Right.
You know, maybe the real tall guys.
Right.
I think even Big Ramy was downsized a little bit. He was
I don't even think he's 300
270 on stage this last year.
Yeah.
Also looked his best.
Yeah. See? And that's the thing. If I've talked to all the open guys now and previously, talked to Dexter.
Yep.
I've talked to Chris.
Yep.
Flex, Ronnie, Kevin. All of them said their best looks were at their lightest weight.
Yeah, and the two, I mean, you think even Ronnie Coleman, everybody was like, oh, he was 330 in the offseason. I'm like, yeah, but he was 250 at his best.
At his best.
At his best, he was 250, and he was monstrous.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
he still looked 350 at 250.
He looked even bigger.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean that he was the epitome of the freak in the 90s and early 2000s.
Absolutely,
but that's the reason Flex never. That's the reason Flex never won. Unfortunately, there's 2 words: Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah,
that was a monster,
man.
dude.
He was just something that doesn't come around, for until what, I don't know, 20, 30 years, because we don't have any Ronnie Colemans now.
No, I mean you can argue that Phil Heath was kind of a modern day, but you put a top-notch Phil Heath, which Phil and I are friends, top-notch Phil Heath, top-notch Ronnie Coleman. That's a tough battle.
That's a tough battle. But again, Phil's best look was 2011, 12.
Yeah, and he was his lightest.
Right? That was his lightest and his first win. Man.
And
we get caught up.
He was damn near perfect that year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't think he had a spot. And the crazy thing with Phil, he's not a guy with lagging calves or lagging forearms or lagging anything. His abs were perfect back then. The guy was legitimately the perfect bodybuilder.
Perfect.
So him gaining too much size was his detriment. Did age get to him a little bit? I'm sure. It gets to everybody, right? Except for you. Clearly.
Right. We're holding on as tight as we can.
I mean, I know you're healthy. I mean, you do some lab work through our clinic to make sure your health markers are in good shape through Aspire, and I know you're healthy. I know you're doing the right things.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
And this is a necessary thing that we must do for
it's become
us.
More and more important lately.
Absolutely.
I mean, I hate even talking about it on video. I know I've touched on it a few times in my live videos. You have as well. Talking about the deaths in bodybuilding and everything like that. Man, talking about health and bodybuilding are hard.
It is hard.
It's bodybuilding is not the healthiest sport.
Right.
We understand that. Anybody that knows bodybuilding, true bodybuilding, knows that there's some abuse happening, knows that there's some things happening, there's some you know, higher doses of anabolics happening, and you know, most of us are open about that now. You know, I think Seth Feroce just posted a video. I don't know if you saw it. He calls out everybody. Oh, you all know steroids are going to kill you eventually, and he went through that. You know, a couple of years ago, Dr. Victor Prisk, IFBB Pro. I don't know if you know Prisk or not. He's out of Pittsburgh. Okay, he's got a very good medical practice up there. He's a doctor too, and an IFBB Pro.
Wow,
as a stud.
Yeah, what a combination.
I know. So he has an orthopedic center up there, and Seth is friends with him because they're both in Pittsburgh. And the guy basically told Seth, like, hey, like, you're going to die if you continue down this path. Not now, not 5 years ago, not 5 years from now, but 10, 15 years, you're going to die early. Yeah. Because your blood markers are showing this, you know? And he was big. He's very open. He abused a lot of stuff. So, you know, all these people are like, oh, we need to change bodybuilding. We need to change what drugs are being used. We need to change. We need to test. We need to do this. And Seth's like, what are you guys talking about? That's not what bodybuilding is. Bodybuilding is a sport of freaks, and we're all a little bit crazy. I've competed. I know what we have to do to compete, right? I know what it takes to get to certain levels. Yeah. So, you know, health and bodybuilding, they're not really synonymous all the time. Yeah. There's guys like you, and I think the Classic Physique division was kind of really showcasing that. There's guys like you that are doing it in a little more of a healthy way, in a little more of a manageable way. Yeah. And you specifically are very big on health markers. Absolutely. I mean, I know you text me, you know, every 3 months probably, if not more. Yeah. Hey, we need to test some stuff. You know, we need to get this stuff looked at. You know, oh, there's a liver enzyme elevation. Hey, glutathione, let's do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know exactly what to keep you healthy because you understand what the sport does. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, from your perspective, what does it look like? What does it look like from an outside perspective? What does it look like from a bodybuilding perspective? What is health and bodybuilding? Do they mix to you?
I think now they do, and especially with me with Classic. When I started first with Classic, I actually kind of became like a hippie. Okay. You know? Yeah, because I was like, oh man, I'm in Classic. This is how the body looks. This is how the flow looks. It's beautiful. It's pretty, right?
Artistic.
Artistic. I'm gonna just take care of everything inside out of my body. I'm gonna eat everything organic. I'm gonna drink alkaline water. That's what got me started in all that, and really started focusing on just my body and what I'm putting in it, and cherishing it more, and you know, understanding that it's the temple, and I want to live a long life. Yeah, still looking great and still able to perform great things in the gym. You know, so Classic, man, got me started with that, and I think, well, I'm glad the division kind of really was introduced because, and you know that it's probably the most popular now, I think, or maybe not the most popular when you're talking about guys going into what tickets they're paying to go see the Olympia. Sure. But what they want to look like.
You look at social media.
What they want to look like.
You look at social media, and there's been some polls up lately. I don't know if you saw them.
I've seen them.
And it said, what would you rather look at, Classic Physique or open bodybuilding? Classic Physique was an overwhelming win, talking like 20% more. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, and he's like, oh, what would you rather look like? What would you rather watch? Classic Physique still won.
Classic Physique still won.
So that's really telling you something like, okay, so maybe the huge freak factor is maybe starting to come down a little bit, and people actually want to see a more beautiful physique. Yeah. They want to see something maybe a little more attainable. Yeah, absolutely. You know, because it's more relatable to the public. Yes. And I think that if you maximize on the Classic Physique, and, you know, I can go on for hours about what the IFBB maybe should look at instead of what they shouldn't look at to make it more mainstream, Classic Physique's your picture. Oh. Guys like you, guys like
Ruff. It's a runaway. Yeah, it's a runaway. Yeah. It's a runaway what they should be marketing. And with the, you know, as for if they're going to go business wise, and you know, and just really focus on that. Sure. Yeah, runaway as far as just what, you know, Classic they should be highlighting and really, like I said, just, you know, illuminating for the future, and what's going to be, you know, business wise, bringing in a lot more money and more mainstream.
Well, I mean, you look at physiques, like let's look at the top 5 at the Arnold Classic that just happened. You know, so you, Ruff, Dino, Urs, And who am I missing?
Who was fifth? I think it was the guy from London, the guy from England.
I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
I know his look.
Yeah.
If you're standing in front of me, I know what he looked like.
I don't remember his name.
Either way, so that top 5 physiques at the Arnold Classic, you put that on ESPN, people are going to pay attention.
I definitely agree with you.
You know what I mean?
I definitely agree with you.
Where if you look at those comparisons, you look at open bodybuilding, top 5 from the Arnold, you look at Classic Physique, top 5 from there. What is everybody's eye going to gravitate to?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, well, those guys have kind of bigger bellies. Why do they look like that? They look a little unhealthy.
Yeah.
And they look at the Classic, they're like, whoa, look at those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Specimens, statues,
Yeah.
you know, looking like Michelangelo carved. You know what I mean?
Love that. Love that.
So
love that.
that's what I think the sport could really focus on, and that's what I think Classic brought.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, you again, I think you were a pioneer in this industry.
Yeah.
I think if this Classic Physique started when you were maybe in your late 20s, like a lot of these guys, I think you probably would have ran away with a bunch of Olympians. That's just my personal
the timing,
opinion.
Maybe would have already had 5 or 6 under my belt, huh?
It's very possible.
Yeah.
You don't know. But then again, you know, you don't know where the division would have went. It's very objective. It's a very objective sport.
Sure is. Sure is. And that's the tough part, because you put so much heart into it, and so much hard work, and for it to be as subjective as it is, can be disappointing a little bit when it comes down to one judge liking this a little bit more, like in this style a little bit more, like in this shape a little bit more, opinionated.
Well, you know? the metrics of judging it are really not clear sometimes.
Yeah, because it's not like, oh, okay, if I outscore him, if I beat him, in points or whatever, I knock him out, then I win. Yeah. So it's not that cut and dry.
Yeah.
But
that's also the cool thing about the sport too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's got both sides.
Yes. Absolutely, because we all look different, and you can just focus. You don't have to be worrying about what the next person is doing. You can just focus on your best look and let the chips fall where they may. Yeah.
Going into 212, where do you think you're going to fare? Like with guys like Derek, with
Sean.
Sean. Yeah. Like looking at those guys, because 212 is a weird category. I look at it, and everybody looks massive. They're not always as massive in person, but they look massive on stage, right?
Yeah.
Usually a little compact, a little shorter. Yeah. So they're as wide as they are tall. But I'm seeing a lot of aesthetics there. Everybody's doing vacuums.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a different kind of division. It's almost like a mixture of open bodybuilding and classic.
It is, and I'm proud to say it is, and I'm very. I'm excited to say that it is, and I'm excited to go to that division because of it. Because if it wasn't that, I would stay in classic for as long as I could. Yeah. And then just ride it on out in classic, and then call it a day. Sure. In classic for as long as I could. Sure. But I am proud to say that the 212 division has some great shapes in there. Has guys that are paying attention to the quality of muscle instead of just being massive. Yep. And which lends itself also to, if they're paying attention to the quality more, Tomo, then that means they're paying attention to it being a little bit more healthy and not being as aggressive with the anabolics and putting all the work in the weight room, right, and letting all the work be in the kitchen and in the weight room, and more of the work being done there.
How important is that? So, I mean, for everybody watching, that's like, as soon as you hear bodybuilding, steroids, I mean, listen, I run a hormone clinic. I run a clinic that specializes in hormone therapy, and even people argue with me. You guys are prescribing steroids. I'm like, you guys really don't know what you're talking about, but I understand why you understand that, why you know that, why you think that.
They're ignorant, and they're misinformed.
That's what it is. Yeah. And it's a lot of misinformation online talking about what all these things do and what it is. So for everybody watching, because I tell everybody, do not touch hormones unless you need them. Professional bodybuilding, it's a little bit different. If you're a professional bodybuilder, I understand. I get what you're doing. But as these kids, it's mostly kids that are watching bodybuilding, right? Yeah. And I'm seeing more and more younger people that are on these groups and forums and all this stuff, and they're talking about taking all this stuff, taking all this gear, right? Taking all these anabolics, and they're not focusing on diet and exercise.
No, and they're YouTube sensations, Tomo. So people are paying attention, The kids, the YouTube is all, you know, probably the majority of audiences, right, is 16 to 22, 25. Mm-hmm. So they're paying attention. And, you know, they're really being brainwashed.
Yeah.
And what's the right thing to do? And what is the best way to go about it? Even in being a bodybuilder, you can be in a bodybuilder, you can do it. But obviously, please understand that you got to do it in a smart way, man, and think about longevity because of, and see this they just see the men passing away, but man, there's been women too. There was just
recently,
it was just a 30-year-old woman figure, right, that just passed away.
Sweet girl too. I met her once. She was a beautiful person, man. Just inside, just beautiful soul.
Yeah,
you know.
So that's just so we're not even really understanding the numbers that are kind of, you know, been I guess I don't want to say they've been abusing though, but I just want to say that maybe they're not getting just blood work and not figuring out, not knowing what's going on. Maybe they're not doing anything as far as being reckless out there, but they're not just paying attention, coming to the Tomos, coming to the Aspire, and paying attention to their insides, you know, and really focusing on that, what they're feeling like and what it's looking like.
Well, they're also not doing. You do a lot of cardio. People don't realize that. I know you do because of heart health, right? I mean, it's good for your heart, and it's not just good for the physique; it's good for your heart.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you know, they're not doing all that cardio. Sometimes they're not taking the right vitamins. They're not eating the right food. So add in all this crappy food they're eating. Add in, you know, not doing enough cardio, not doing enough cardiovascular activity. And some anabolics, and they're not paying attention. I mean, you know what your blood work is doing every 3 months. And if you see something, you're like, oh, we need to fix it. That's how it should be. That's how people should be paying attention, especially if you're doing such an extreme sport like bodybuilding.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember that? Well, you remember in 2000, what was that? Was that 19 or 21? That was 19. My liver enzymes were higher than what they usually are.
That's right.
And Tomo, I stopped. It was like 7 weeks out of training. I stopped. I stopped all pre-workouts.
I remember.
I stopped everything for a week, 7 days, 6 weeks out. There's nobody doing that.
No,
nobody's doing that. That's going to, you know, look at their blood work and say, oh, that's a little too much. Let's do that into the prep that late.
And see, you understand the ramifications of it. So you're somebody that's educated on it, which I think needs to be spread to everybody else. People watching, you know, episodes like this, people watching YouTube channels like this, where they're really putting out the information. Like, listen, steroids are dangerous. They can be very dangerous for people. And not only is the drug a dangerous thing, you don't know what your genetics do with the drug.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have patients that come in and, you know, I can take 200 milligrams testosterone a week. I have no high blood pressure. I have no cholesterol issues. I have no elevated red blood cell count. My hemoglobin, hematocrit are perfect. I get nothing. And then you get another guy, takes the exact same amount. Guy's ready to have a heart attack.
Yeah, it could be a different story.
His hemoglobin, hematocrit go crazy. His blood gets super thick. His blood pressure goes up. You know, he starts getting different side effects. I mean, so you have to tailor what you're doing with your genetics, you know? And that's where I think people are just really losing it because they're going online. Well, so-and-so, Mr. IFBB Pro, said to do this. Guys, it does not mean it's going to work for you.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Or it does not mean it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said recently on a podcast to basically suggest to take blood pressure medications while you're on a bunch of gear instead of addressing the actual issue of what's causing the blood pressure.
Oh.
And I'm like, guys, that is the worst advice you can give to people because, I mean, you and I know, but most people don't know, there are extreme side effects to blood pressure meds. There are some blood pressure meds out there that right now, if they tried to pass them through the FDA, they might not get approved because of the amount of side effects. You know, potassium loss being one of them. What does potassium loss do? Causes you to cramp. What's the biggest muscle in your body? Your ticker, your heart. If that cramps, that's called a heart attack. You're dead. So, you know, if you get some 22-year-old kid taking a bunch of stuff because he wants to look good in the gym or look good in summer, and now he's like, oh, I saw on YouTube to take a blood pressure med. Come on, guys. It's not the right way to do things. You know, as bodybuilders, as examples, you know, you do a fantastic job talking about health and longevity.
Yeah, and I need to do more. Thank you, Tom. I need to do more, man. I need to do more. I really do. I think it's important. I need to be more open about what I'm doing, what I think they should do. you know, and then once they see the proof in the pudding too, and that I put, you know, that I put all the emphasis on what's going on in the weight room, what's going on in the kitchen,
that's
what's
the most
going on
important.
with the cardio and the sleep.
Yeah,
you know,
sleep. Gosh, I mean, sleep is so important. Your food, you know, your food.
I'm a nap king.
Yeah, nap king?
Along with being a pancake king, I'm the nap king.
Listen, every time I see you post
nap
pancakes,
king and pancake king, guys.
Every time I see you post pancakes, I'm super jealous because I can't eat pancakes like you eat pancakes.
But you know, Tomo, I just like I have to put it out there that you know, I don't be eating the pancakes during prep.
Yeah.
But when I do, guys, I don't think there's too many people who can take me down as far as stacks. I call myself the king because as far as you got to have the different categories on why you would call yourself the king, right? Right. So it was one category is you can eat a lot. One category is that you know all about the flavors. You know, it's about texture, softness. What's the you know, what's the consistency of it?
You're a connoisseur.
Very much so. Very much so. Just everything all around it. So, and anybody that wants to say, you know, to challenge me on that, be more than welcome. We can have a pancake off.
I would love.
I already beat Danny Hester in 2017, 18. We did that. Yeah, I already beat him.
Okay.
So, you know, we haven't done it ever since, but that was fun.
Would you challenge Chris Bumstead on a pancake off?
Oh, I sure would.
Chris, you gonna take that challenge?
Yeah.
I will call you out right now, Chris Bumstead.
Chris, take that challenge. Actually, we were talking about going out for some pancakes after not last year's Olympia. Was that last year's Olympia? Yeah, that was last year's Olympia. But I think Chris got lost somewhere and didn't want to challenge me with pancakes.
Okay, okay. And you and Chris are actually friends.
Yeah, we're cool when we see each other. We're really cool, man. He's a cool guy. I'm laid back and I'm a cool fella. And then we know how to separate what's going on, you know. And
you're competitive on stage. You're gonna headbutt on stage.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Jay and Ronnie used to. Jay and Ronnie used to headbutt on stage all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, backstage they were hugging.
Oh yeah, and that's the way it is. That's what we do. And you know, we understand that, but everybody else, you know, is I guess that's what makes fans, you know, fanatical about who they enjoy, who they like, and who they choose to be fans for. But it's all good. It's all good. It's a competitive thing when it's all said and done and when it's time. But when you know, when the lights aren't on, man, we could go have some pancakes.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it, and we can still keep it competitive.
And we can still keep it competitive. You know that.
You guys can definitely have the pancake
anyway too.
So what's future looking like for Breon? Let's say 10 years down the road. Do you have a 10-year, 20-year plan? Because I love asking bodybuilders this, especially because we all know bodybuilding eventually is going to come to an end when you're on stage. You'll always be somebody in bodybuilding, right? So you're always going to be somebody. You're always going to have those Olympia championships. You're always going to be a spectacle for the sport. You're always going to have that. You're going to be immortalized in bodybuilding. That's basically what it is. Yeah. So, you know, with that immortality in bodybuilding, what does future Breon look like 10, 20, 30 years from now? Because I want people to see that in you, because I want people to understand that it's not all bodybuilding.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You want to live to a good, ripe old age. You know, 80, 90, 100 years old. I want to see a 100-year-old Breon.
Yeah.
With the gray afro.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. I'll have a gray one.
I want to see it. So what does that look like? What's your future plans look like? I mean, nothing super detailed, but, you know, what do you see yourself doing in the long run after all this is done?
Yeah, I'm already investing in real estate. I'm already investing. I invest in stocks and looking to do more of that, kind of just grow my brand more as well. And just kind of carry on with that. Maybe I'd like to have a couple of shows. You know, there's no classic guys that have any shows that they signaturize. So I'd like to have a couple of shows in the near future. And you know, yeah, initially I think that's about what I can see myself doing. Okay. Because I'm still probably going to be competing. I got a little juice left in the tank. Oh yeah. Still. Oh yeah. Maybe, I don't know if I could put a number on that. 5, 6, 7 years still left in me. You know, yeah, and then still be smart with the money that we're able to make. I think that's very important. I definitely want to talk to more about the kids, to the kids about that type stuff. Yep. about investing and getting this game and doing the things like that. Is, you know, looking into your future.
Yeah, not blowing your money is something that people really need to understand.
Yeah. Well, see, you know, we're not the NFL, we're not the NBA and the MLB, so we're not making.
Yeah, you're not making.
We can't afford to be blowing any money because we don't make money like them.
Yeah.
So.
And the days of those $1 million supplement contracts are long gone. Unfortunately,
long gone. You know, back when Kristen and all them were competing, whether it's the late '90s, 2000s. I mean, Muscle Tech was giving, you know, handing out contracts for like $300,000-400,000. You know. Not anymore.
You know who Muscle Tech just sponsored?
Who?
Superman. Henry Cavill.
Oh.
Of all people. I'm like, whoa.
Oh.
That's going different.
Yeah, that's going different.
I'm curious how much they're paying him or if they maybe gave him portion. You know?
But see, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
And that's why Classic Physique is great too, because it's more mainstream, it's more you know, it's more marketable.
Yeah.
It's more marketable. So that's why I'm gonna be sad to go. Because of all that is concerned, but I'll still keep my marketability. I'm not going to let all that get out of whack.
Listen, you're still two-time Classic Physique Mr. Olympia. You are still that, and you're never going to not be that, which is the greatest thing. Right?
Thank you, brother. Trying to get one more.
If we can get you to beat everybody just down this next Olympia, I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think it would be a great story.
Yeah,
great story.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that way, you know, and I mean, you ending your last year in Classic Physique, going into 212, coming off an Olympia win.
Yeah,
everybody's going to tell you, why would you leave?
Oh, I know, momentum. Yeah,
but if you did, if you won and you left on a high note out of Classic Physique, that would be crazy.
That would be.
That's like a mic drop.
That is mic drop. That's like Hollywood. You couldn't write a better Hollywood script than that, right?
I hope you do it. I hope you do it. I hope you piss everybody off and do it,
man. And then if that happens, they might write a script on that. That might be
fun.
Going in production.
That's right. That's fun. And that's what bodybuilding needs. It needs more excitement. It needs more love. It needs more attention. I think, you know, it can go in the right direction. Just needs the right push from the right people.
Sure. And that's why I'm so excited. You know, I was excited for the Rock show, and then very disappointed when we weren't able to kind of see that all the way through, because you know, you talk about, you know, a whole different audience now getting to put their eyes.
From what I understand, he's still going to do it.
I think so. I hope so.
Because Danny Garcia, I have a mutual friend who knows Danny Garcia very well.
Okay.
And apparently it's still on. They're just kind of biding their time.
Good. Because I think that'll be groundbreaking for bodybuilding.
Oh, yeah.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bringing that kind of media attention is what it needs, is what the sport needs.
Absolutely.
That's what's going to get it on ESPN. That's what's going to get it on, you know, Fox Sports. That's what it needs to really elevate. And that's where the athletes start making more money, you know? And that's where if you put on a Breon Ansley Classic, you know, you put
on
that
ESPN.
on. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I like your vision.
That's
I love your vision, brother.
I'm gonna see Jim Mannion and everybody up in Pittsburgh next weekend.
Oh, you're going there. You'll be there.
I'm going there. So I will be there. I'm visiting our Pittsburgh office, our Aspire office in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to hang out with Seth Feroce because he is title sponsor of the event.
Oh.
Axe and Sledge. So
wow.
Axe and Sledge Supplements, the title sponsor of the Pittsburgh Pro. He's super excited about that.
Oh, yeah, and he should be.
Seth's a born and bred Pittsburgh boy.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So he's into it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, well deserved for him.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
I haven't met him, but he definitely seems like a real down-to-earth guy.
You guys would very much like each other.
Yeah.
He is very just real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're very real. Yeah. You know, it's very to the point.
Yep.
There's no BS.
Yep.
There's no nonsense. Yep. And you know how it is in sport, right?
Of course. Love those guys, man. So Seth, one day, brother, we got to meet up and have a drink or two, have a pancake or two, brother. Have a stack or two.
Oh, he's got a whiskey collection that is
he does?
Second to none.
Oh, you talk about a businessman. See, he's doing it right. Because Seth has really never hit the stage and kind of made his presence on stage.
Yeah, I mean, he did very well in a few shows. He's won several pro shows, been on the Olympia stage.
He has been on the Olympia stage.
Yeah, he has been on the Olympia stage. I don't know if it's once or twice. I can't really remember.
Okay.
Because Hani was training him for a little while. So he was good.
Yeah.
But, you know, he really, his life really blossomed, I think, after bodybuilding. Because his personality, I don't think he's talked about this on his podcast before. I don't think he really let his personality blossom when he was bodybuilding. Post bodybuilding, he just let it all out there because he didn't care.
Right.
He already had his own brand. He had his own supplement line, and he can say whatever he wants without repercussion. And that's when everybody was like, "Whoa, I like this guy."
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
because he can say he has no boss.
Yeah,
you know, and his brand has grown tremendously.
Yeah, that access. I see that I see that everywhere. I see it everywhere.
Yeah, he's got a really good brand. He's doing really good things, and he's a very good person, family oriented, and you know he talks about the health aspects in bodybuilding all the time. He and I had a conversation with him 2 mornings ago. Can you believe they said this? And his favorite word begins with the letter F. Yeah. So his favorite word, when I have him on the podcast, I'm going to have to do a lot of beeps. Make sure we don't get struck off YouTube. But you know, he is very open-minded, and he is very open about his opinion, and you guys would vibe very well.
I'm sure we would.
You guys would vibe very well.
Yeah, I'm sure we would. One day it'll happen soon.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely introduce you guys.
Of course.
I mean, either way, whether it's down here or it's out in Cali, whatever, I'll definitely get you guys together. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
And you guys train together would be fun.
Yeah, that would be.
He trains like a maniac.
Does he?
Still.
Woo!
And he's only doing real basic stuff. Obviously, health is important. You know, he's doing basic TRT, doing some peptides, you know, things like that. And he looks excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy looks like a specimen.
See, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, really. I mean, because look at it's so sad, our legends, you know, Ronnie Coleman and Flex.
Yeah.
You know, some of the best bodies that we've ever laid eyes on. And now it's like, oh, well, I don't know if it's due to what they were doing or the lack of what they weren't doing, or you know, what it has really to do, what it really has to do with, but I guarantee you, if they would have just been on it a little bit more, some things would change. Yeah. Some things would be different.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad when you see Ronnie with the crutches. You know, obviously Flex had his health problems, and I mean, you know, not to go back and beat a dead horse, but I mean, all the bodybuilders that have passed. You know, Sean Roden, the guy was amazing. When he won, I was truly happy to see that. I was truly happy to see, because Phil Heath was just kicking everybody's butt for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I saw him win, I was like, wow, that was amazing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And then I was hoping next year Phil was going to come back and win. And then a year after that, Flex, you know, I wanted to see that.
Of course.
You know, because that's good for the sport. But I mean, you see all these guys that are passing away, and it's you think about it from a bodybuilding perspective. Could this have been prevented? Could this have been worked against? Could they have been a little more cognizant of what they're doing to their body? I don't want to see anybody like that. You know, I don't want to see anybody in pain like Ronnie is.
Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, even 10 times out of 10, the answer is yes. They could have. They could have. You know, paid a lot more attention. To it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we can go on about that on health and bodybuilding forever. You know, I think that people just need to be aware that there is dangers in the sport. And people need to be aware that there's safer ways to do it. I think you're a prime example and a shining example in bodybuilding of what it can be. Because you don't look your age.
Thank God.
You don't. I mean, you don't. You look way younger than you are. You perform way younger than you are. If you look at your blood work, oh, there's a 25-year-old healthy male.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, when we see that, it's like, oh, and you are a top-level Olympian competitor. That should tell people something.
Yeah.
You know, that should tell people like, oh, I can do this and also pay attention to my health. Is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep that balance sometimes. You know, just like you said, you had to stop doing things, no pre-workout, right before a show. But that's a choice you made. Thank God you did. You could have done irreparable damage to your body. You know? Tell everybody that's watching, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? I mean, you got 1 million followers on Instagram. People know who you are. You know what I mean?
Almost there, man. Almost there. We'll get there.
So where can they find you? Where can they get your shirts? By the way, I love your shirts. I have several of them.
Thank you,
you know, so where can they get all of your merchandise, and tell them where they can find you?
Okay. Well, you could find me on Instagram at, what is my Instagram? Breon MA_. So my name, Breon MA_. And a lot of people ask me, or a lot of people come up to me and say, "You're Breon Ma."
Breon Ma.
Yeah, they call me by the Instagram, the whole
Breon
name.
M. Ansley.
Yeah.
That's right. What's your middle name?
Miles.
Miles.
Yeah.
Breon Miles Ansley.
So that's what all that is.
Okay.
That's what all that stands for. So you can find me there. You can find me on YouTube. That's the fam talking to you guys all the time on YouTube every week. On the website, forthedamnwin.com.
That's right.
Love that name, right?
And you got the Earn Your Pancakes t-shirts.
On the Earn Your Pancakes t-shirts aren't on there yet. I'm coming back with the specific Earn Your Pancakes t-shirts. Maybe my mug will be on there, my curly-haired mug like it was on there but before. You know, remember the Jerry Curl juice? I had a Jerry Curl juice and a big Colgate smile on there before with Earn Your Pancakes. And that shirt was a hit. So maybe got to bring that back. But these shirts are on there now, guys. Champ Thoughts, Champ Motions, and Desire a Legacy shirts are on there now, along with ebooks, along with those are the things.
Yeah, and I mean your training stuff on YouTube is excellent.
I appreciate it.
Really about training.
Yeah,
it's not fluff and BS and trying to get fans to interact. You're actually teaching people.
Yeah.
So when I see you post workouts, I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw up today. I'm going to do Breon's workout.
Try to do my best, man. I try to show them the real,
That's it.
Just show them the real. Show them, be a little multifaceted sometimes and show them some other things. But really get down into the nitty gritty and show them, that it's just really, at the end of the day, all about hard work, guys, and heart, and love what you do. Mm-hmm. And kind of just start there, and then everything else can go from there. Money and all the notoriety that you might want, and all just start with you being who you are in here first.
Amen, brother.
And being and trying to be unique with it, and then that's it. Go from there.
Well, thank you for being an excellent ambassador for the sport. Thank you for being an example in health and bodybuilding, a rarity. And we're excited to see you.
We're
in Tampa.
working on that, right? And we don't want to call it a rarity, like really in the near future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're excited to see you in Tampa.
Yes.
Big announcement. We're excited to see you at the Olympia. We hope you kick some butt over there.
Absolutely.
And thank you again for coming on the YouTube channel, man. I'm excited to.
Pleasure, brother. Pleasure.
We'll do this again.
Yes, I had to make sure I came down to Florida and to see you, brother. And always will.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you for having me.